And welcome back to another episode of Total Control with Huesca, the save where I go from no points after 10 matches to us winning the title. Okay, it's a bit out of our reach right now, but it doesn't matter because we are out of the relegation zone. We've won 3 in a row in the league. Levante, the home game, that's one of those ones that I would have maybe, given our form at that point at home, expected us to do alright in, do a reasonable job in. However, the surprise victory away at Espanyol, I said at one point we wanted to get a surprise victory. I figured that's probably the one that will maybe be a catalyst for something. And then I actually think the Villarreal result is an even bigger surprise in a way, because they're a top half seed team. Sure, we beat those types of teams at home before. We've done all right. But it's the fact that it was so comprehensive. A 3-0 win is massive. Like, beating Girona 3-0, at 4-0 was one thing. But beating a team like Villarreal 3-0 is another massive step in the right direction. So, today, it's Sevilla. Take the pressure off a little bit. We're going to arrange a friendly in the international break. Although, to be honest, do we even need one right now? I think our morale is about as high as it could ever be. So maybe let's not risk any players getting injured. And instead, let's just enjoy the international break and prepare for a lovely game against Sevilla. We have a youth intake! Huesca announced new intake of youth players. I completely forgot about that. This episode was going to be a bit like, well, you know. But now, we've got every reason to be excited about Jose Manuel Lopez, who has the potential to be one of the most gifted players to come through the youth ranks at SD Huesca in recent years. I'd like to think we have a noble influence of bringing through Salva Gonzalez and Loren Zaragoza. Sorry. What? El Hadj Diouf. He's part Senegalese. That's amazing. We've got a player called El Hadj Diouf. Anyway, youth candidate team. What we got, lads? Oh, okay, so it's not... Oh, great, he's a goalkeeper. So the best player... Okay, there's some names in here, lads. Firstly, Jose Manuel Lopez is a goalkeeper. He's all right, I guess. I guess we don't particularly have great youth facilities here, so we can't expect loads, but that's just glorious, isn't it? Danny Sanchez, not too bad there. Jose Manuel, Carlos Gomez, El Hadj Diouf. What? Love it. Javi Camacho. We've got another Camacho on board. Mafika Thedelia. That's a cool name. What are he's from? I'd like to see all the dual nationalities. Oh, South African. Nice. Salva Gonzalez. We've got Danny. Another one. Alvaro Duce. Jose Carlos Alfaro. Augustin. Kenneth Friday. A Spanish right back called Kenneth Friday. What we got? Go on. Nigerian. That's amazing. Lovely. And of course, Sandro Ballesteros. Unfortunately, Kenneth Friday is rubbish. But El Hadj Diouf. I mean, what more do you want? Post-match. Very important. Jose Angel was fantastic. He didn't complete a lot of passes, but boy did he complete a lot of crosses. Milero did have a bit of a poor time, and I think bringing Willock on was actually a pretty solid display in this one. Focus of attacks, again, although only just slightly down the left-hand side. And this time, Jose Angel with the 4 key passes. He made a lot of mistakes, but he also made a ton of key passes. Toure was a bit quieter in this one, but Jose Angel is really stepping into that role now, and I quite like his work, to be honest. I don't know if Luisinho is going to be able to win his place back at this rate, but the main thing is we're going to have to make sure that we've got Musto back for this Sevilla game, because obviously Amadou can't play against him, so Damian Musto is going to have to step back in, and everything's going to be dandy. So Levante are one of the clubs above us. Everybody else is kind of out the way. So if Bilbao could do us a favour, that'd be ideal. And we're actually only still 4 points behind them, to be honest. And we've actually got a game in hand on Girona, which if we were to win, we would actually go above them as well due to our head-to-head against them. And we'd actually probably leapfrog Getafe as well. We're in such a good position right now with our 3 consecutive league victories. But again, we've got tough games to come at some point. But the fact that we've taken points from ridiculously tough matches like against Espanyol and Villarreal, those are really, really important points. Particularly as Villarreal had won 4 in a row. Or even, yeah, they'd run 4 in a row going into that game against us. And we just hit them for 3. Okay, training schedule. So, I'm actually going to leave this one as it is for this week because we actually can get away with a more physical approach to this week because we've got no matches. So that's all right for that. What I am going to do, though, is just put in one little chance conversion one in here just to... chance conversion, just to give us a little bit of a boost there. But then when it comes to this week, then we're going to go back to our normal sort of approach. But no match practice midweek because we're not lunatics. And instead of an attacking patient, I want... Actually, no, we'll have an attacking movement one. No, actually, we want teamwork. Teamwork for this one. That'll do all right. Actually, I don't want a high physical one here because it's going to massively potentially get us injuries. Screw it. We'll go for another community outreach one. Actually, no. We'll go for another team bonding. I really want to boost that side of things. That'll probably do for now. Whatever. I don't know if it's the training that's actually making any difference for us, but the point is not having a huge hindrance on us. The dynamics are really, really good. I don't know how on earth my managerial support would have fallen as a result of 3 consecutive victories, but so be it. Cohesion is definitely improving. All is well. I'm going to set all of these guys available for the next match because why the hell not, really? Give them a bit of extra football. Hopefully not get them hurt because Musto just needs to get his match sharpness up a little bit if he can do. But we've got 12 days to go anyway. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. 2-1 victory. Valladolid, they've kind of been on a good run, but that's another game for them that they've played and now lost. Albeit against Real, but now we're a point ahead of them and we've got 2 games in hand over them. But I still feel like at some point Betis are going to wake up from their siesta and actually come along a little bit. And I think once they do, I still think they'll probably finish above us in the end, because I think at some point they're bound to wake up. I think we're going to have to finish above someone like Girona, Getafe, Levante, those sort of teams if we actually want to stay up, because I still think Betis are going to be... I think they'll beat us in that home game, I do. Everything's looking good here on the injuries. These are players... We've actually got no injuries as such, just players returning from injury. So Luisinho's back, Galan will be back, Musto will be back, it's all good. Angel and Insua in the team of the week, with Hernandez and Escheta on the bench too. Acapo is now an influential player, and Jose Angel definitely deserves a boost on this one. Okay, so we beat our youth candidates 4-2. I'm just going to sign them up because there's nothing really amazing in there. I feel like defensively we've seriously improved, because in those last 3 matches we've only conceded 1 goal, and that goal was a free kick, a direct one. We've not conceded any open play goals in 3 matches now, and that really is the difference when we're capable of scoring a couple of goals every game. It's huge. There's another one of these games coming up, and honestly, I'm going to say set these guys all available for the next game as well. Musto gained a little bit of a match shot. Actually, gained like 10%, so that'd be good to get him back, and then they can have a nice little rest after that. Get some of these guys back to full fitness. Even our worst training performer is a 6.2. I feel like we're massively punching above our weight to actually be not in the relegation zone right now. We're performing miracles, to be honest, and I'm so happy with it. But with all that being said, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Yes, we're out the relegation zone. We've won 3 in a row and we're looking excellent. But the arse could still fall out of us. We get a couple of bad results. A load more injuries could come along out of nowhere and absolutely screw us. We could just play badly and might not be tactically correct. There's all sorts of things that could go wrong. But what I'd say is that we're out the relegation zone and we've still got to play all 3 of the teams below us in the league at home, and both of the 2 teams directly above us away from home. So we've got a lot of relegation 6-pointers to fight, and if we can just come through that looking slightly good. The one downside to those games is that if they go wrong for us, we lose a lot of ground on our opponents, but if they go right, then we gain so much, and it really is going to be 5 massive gambles in those matches. Because the following week, we've not got a lot of time off in between there and the Valladolid game, so we're going to make sure we get rid of these for a start. Honestly, I'm going to just take this stuff and focus on what's important to us, which is setting up our defensive set pieces. Going with the simple stuff in these games, basically, because I don't think there's a lot we could accomplish in there. We just want to be prepared and rested as much as we can for Valladolid. What I'm actually going to do is save a version of this tactic, put it in for a second one, and make a cautious version with nothing else other than the cautious part chain. Okay, so now we've got Huesca main cautious, which is the same exact thing, except with a cautious mentality. So you can see that the intensity definitely drops, but also, more importantly, you can see that the familiarity with the mentality and the tempo and stuff is going to change due to that. So what I want to make sure we're doing is training that as a different approach too, so the players are more familiar with it should we have to switch to it, which we will be a lot. So I want to make sure they're properly familiar and can play that approach if we need to in matches, which we're going to. So I think it will make us more prepared in the long run. Oops, I did not mean to quick pick there. Okay, I guess it's because there's players available there. Right, yeah. Oh, and in case you're wondering about youth intakes, it would be fair to say there's a decent amount of them available now as a result of us turning on all these extra leagues. There's Norway in there. There's all sorts. I mean, like, Arnaldo Brown. He's from where exactly? Panama. The Panamanian League has turned on. It's glorious. There's just going to be players coming out of every possible place you could imagine. There we go. Estonian League. There's the potential for beautiful regens from all sorts of nations, and I think that's what's going to make Notts County super fun. The other thing I hope it will do is stop the part where you get 10 years into a save and every single top club has basically got players from the exact same nations in it. So it's all Spanish, Belgian, German, English, French. Like, it's all the same, and I would love it if there were a few more of these regens could come through from these obscure nations. I even had the thought of one day doing a save where I'm not allowed to sign players whose nation is in the top 20 FIFA rankings at the time of me signing them. So if they're playing for, like, if they're a French player, the only way I'd be allowed to sign them is if France somehow fell below the top 20 in the FIFA rankings. I think that'd be quite a cool one to get you more nuanced players. Now, obviously, you wouldn't have to sell them if the team got better, but I still think it'd be quite cool. Ooh, Leganes are playing Betis. This is what I mean. Betis could probably start to come up, and I can't see that Leganes are going to win this. We'll switch over to this one for the tactical briefing. Even if I say cautious, they still won't agree, so we've got to be careful with that. We're going to do the usual, though. Hit early crosses. They love that. Low crosses, they're generally on board with that. They like a higher line of engagement, usually, yeah. I might just leave it at that, in all honesty. Obviously, these players aren't going to be the ones that play this game, for example. So Galan is fit enough to play, which is what we want. Deportivo lose to Barca, no surprises there. It's this game here. The Leganes Betis game. Leganes are at home. If they were to beat Betis, which I wouldn't mind, I think they're so far away now, they're done. If they beat Betis, that would be so helpful, but I don't think they will, and that's the problem. But they're missing a few players here. I don't know how important they are, but we'll see. In fact, that's the first thing I'm going to do is look at the scout report and see how important they are. So Vidal is a rotation option. That's literally it. First things first, switch this around a lot. So we want to bring in Juanpi, of course, here. Galan will definitely start there. Toure, Malero, and Musto is fine by me. Walker Peters will not be playing in that role. There's no way that I'm giving that role to him when Carpo has done so well. Jose Angel, Insua, and Etc., and that is fine. I swear, one thing, right? The morale after we win that match goes massively up and then nothing happens in the meantime. And yet when you go to the match day, suddenly the morale's crap again. Why is that? It's really, really annoying. So, on the bench, where do we go? Mango obviously has to be on the bench. He's my go-to substitute striker, to be honest. And I might put Woodburn on here instead of... Oh, Luisinho's back again. Now we'll keep him in. Honestly, Jose Angel's keeping his place. He's played fantastically over this period, and Luisinho just does not deserve to come back into the team right now. He just doesn't. So, they play a very similar system to what Villarreal did in the second half. They've got Banega as an advanced playmaker as well, with Promes and Sarabia and Silva and Ben Yedder. Look at this with complete wing back. An attacking formation, and yeah, they are vulnerable to this sort of approach, it would seem, but they've won a few games lately. Not playing that style against Eibar, though. They did play this style against Getafe, and actually, interestingly, drew. Nothing through the middle here, and Banega had a very, very poor time of it. Nobody was really excellent. This is the one they're most vulnerable against, but look at how rarely they concede opportunities. But, and it seems that it's lower rated teams often, but look at how few chances they've conceded this year. That is huge. What about formations used? They traditionally play like that, but what about when they've played this approach? They create a lot of chances, and they've only started this a couple of times and haven't conceded a single chance playing like that this season. I think this is going to be a difficult one for us, in all honesty, but we're going to give it our best shot and see what we're capable of coming up with, to be honest. Turn these off and not... Try to focus on the strikers a little bit more. Let these guys go out wide and put some balls in. We're not going to go after Mesa, but we are going to go after Banega a little bit and just try and do our best. Play the rest of it by ear. I think there's going to be gaps because they play such an attacking style of play. I might move Hernandez back to a poacher role again if it seems like the time is right for him. See how he does. But today I want to just keep him as an advanced forward. I wish there was a way you could have an advanced forward where... I want a blank striker role. A striker role that has all the options turned on so you can mould it into what you want. Right, and it doesn't seem to be one at the moment. And that's what I'd really like. Just one that's just called centre forward, where you can choose what it does. Because I don't want him moving into the channels. That's I think the instruction that is causing him to peel out wide and not get in behind. But what can you do? Let's go. Now I feel like this game is one we can come into expecting nothing from it, but we're in a great position right now, so we can have a good time. Let's go out there and have a crack. Let's go. Musto back in the lineup for the first time in a while. I do worry that the lack of Musto could cause us some problems because Amadou has been pretty bloody good since he came in, I have to say. If we took anything from this match, again, it would be an absolute miracle, but it would be another step in the right direction, particularly with Leganes and Betis playing later. Eva Banega. Silva. Oh, he's actually still kept that in. Roque Mesa, great tackle. Now, if we were to go behind, and it's later in the game, we could maybe switch to positive a little bit, like we did against Espanyol. Here we go. Toure, that's more like it. That space is going to be available for days. Ooh, big tackle, though. Jovanovic. If Galan can win the header, which he does, actually, but unfortunately, it's the second ball that's costing us... Oh, look, this is a goal. This is an absolute dead cert goal. What the hell was that from a defensive standpoint? Absolute ridiculousness was that. Terrible ball out, but the moment they get the ball here, they're completely drawn across, and then I don't know where the defenders are going. Why is our right back trailing into the ball in the bottom left-hand corner of the pitch? Is that because he's not set to mark him? That is shocking defending. This one just feels like the Barcelona game a little bit like. We're just sort of on hiding to nothing here. But that doesn't mean we can't come up with something. Oh, stop heading it, please. I actually wonder if our transition play should be to our playmaker instead. Because he's good in the air, and there's a decent amount of players that are good in the air in our midfield anyway. So if we can get the ball and bypass their their press a little bit more, just so that we've got someone to hit with some balls over the top if we do win the ball in a good position. Because at the moment, we're sort of set up for a bit more of a patient build-up kind of game. And at the moment, we're not really in a position to do that. So I wonder if having Hernandez just sit on the last defender, get the ball to Toure, and have him look for balls in behind straight away, be a bit more direct with play. Juanpi could find a ball early here, maybe. Finds a Carpo. Better. Still annoyed at the way that we actually conceded the goal, though. It was a very, very amateurish type of goal to concede. In Sewer, look across the pitch. Look at the space. Tons of room. They didn't get back fast enough. Galan, loads of room for him. We've got men surging forward, left and right. Oh my... He couldn't have picked a worse ball, could he? Toure! I mean, we've got our first chance, but what were we doing there? What an opportunity that was to just fire some players forward and see what happens. There was loads of men who were available for it, and they just refused to play the pass. Right, get that ball out wide, get some men in the box, and see what happens here. Galan. Drop it out wide for Jose Angel. Goes for Toure. Finds Milero! Saved by Vaslik. Okay, that's a bit more like it from us. So 1-0 down at half-time. The goal we conceded was an annoying one because the defenders just sort of shat the bed, but there's a lot of poor performances out there from us right now, and it's not great. I kind of want to press Navas and really throw a bit out of their back line. Because they're having the ball so high at the back, I actually kind of want to push our line of engagement up a little bit and our pressing intensity. I know we're playing cautious, but We might switch it later. I like the idea, but unfortunately it doesn't allow us great counterattacks when he's trying to aim it for Yaya Toure, who refuses to get forward. So maybe just a little bit more sensible play. We've simply not created enough today. Yaya Toure, and it's saved by the goalkeeper, and oh, we're higher up the pitch now. Putting a bit more pressure on them. Chong, slip it in through for someone. Oh, nearly. Gaia, round the corner, please. Insua. Hernandez, nice work. Looks it back to someone. Edge of the box for Malero. Need that overlap, there it is. Okapo's got room, and it's come through nearly. And another big tackle from Jose Angel. Toure. Around the side for Gaia. He's going to shoot, isn't he? Hernandez. Oh, cleared away, but better. Much, much better. And maybe final 10 minutes on attacking here just to see if there's something we could potentially get from this match. What a ridiculous guy. Oh, look, it's from a direct free kick. What an insane goal to concede. That one is ridiculous. Like, we actually clear this. And then somehow... Oh, come on. These goals, man. Right, well, there you go. We've not had enough shots, not enough chances. Not really been great defensively on the night either, but we stayed in the game for long periods and it was unfortunate to concede a goal the way we did there, to be honest. It's not going to happen, but if we could get a goal back, that would show me some solid chops. Luisinho, go short for Chong. Look at the space. Oh, no, he's mucked that up royally. Here we go, breakaway again. Chong, go on, lad. Put one over the top. Finds Hernandez. Around the side. He's found Gaillard. Men in there. Oh, that nearly deflected straight into the net. That would have been very unfortunate for them. Go on, just fancy one over the top, maybe. A cheeky one. He's still pulling out wide. And here he comes, Hernandez. Lovely ball in behind. Can he finish it off? No, he can't. Oh, for crying out loud. Banega's ball in. Okapo clears it, and that should surely do it here. Unless Chong's got one last ball over the top, potentially, for my man Hernandez. It's a very, very poor ball from Chong. He's not had the best game of it so far, but he could still win the header at the back post. No, he doesn't, and that's probably going to do it here, unless Okapo fancies one more ball across, which he does, and the goalkeeper comes and claims it. That should surely finish this game off now. And there we go. Sevilla 2, Huesca 0. Our good run was bound to come to an end. We were dreadful for the first goal, just bad defensively, and for the second one, it was just, I don't know, just one of those ridiculous goals. Again, from a set piece, but what can you do? Jose Angel not good, but we're still outside the relegation zone, still have a game in hand on Valladolid. We weren't expected to win this, but we've got Valladolid in midweek. That's huge, because if we win that, at home, we go 4 points above them with a game in hand still. Although they are playing Betis later, I think, or is that Leganes? Let's find out. Right, big moment here. If Leganes win this, I will be so happy for it. 1-1 draw. Honestly, that's not bad. I will take that any day of the week. The fact that they've not beaten them, the fact that Betis haven't won there is superb for us. That's, you know, the bottom club. Even we won there. And it means that we stay above them in the league. They still have another game in hand to come there. But that's a massive, massive result for Leganes in a way. And it keeps us outside of the relegation zone for another match to go. And that's superb. We've actually won a few more games, even than Getafe, to be honest. So, the next game is the big one. We win against Valladolid in that game. And we're in really good shape after that. And I think we've got every chance of doing it. Like, our home record is really good lately. We've won the last 2 home games in a row, or is it 3 actually? No, I think it's actually 3. Oh no, we've won the last 2 home games in a row, but we've also won 5 of our last 6 home matches. And since we moved over to this different approach, that's a pretty good record, to be honest. 5 wins in 7 matches. 16 points from a possible 21. Our home record, I think, is what's potentially going to keep us up, to be honest. And I'm all for that. Because when you look at what we've got to come, Valladolid, Leganes, Betis, Alaves, 4 winnable games in there. I think if we were to somehow win all 4 of those, we'd be comfortable in the league, to be honest. That would give us 36 points, and that's without any other points elsewhere. I think that would keep us up, but there's still a long way to go. It's not done yet. So next episode is going to be the big one against Valladolid. So tune in for that, because I'm nervous as hell for that. So if you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope you have, drop a like. That'd be gorgeous. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. See you guys very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.